Welcome to the first of many reading challenges that I'm going to do this year. So every month I am going to upload one of these reading challenge videos where I have chosen 3 reading challenges that I'm going to complete every month. So I have chosen the Buzzword-a-thon for just like the regular buzzword as well as the cover. I've also chosen something that I found called the Keyword Challenge, where it's kind of like the Buzzword-a-thon, but it is like keywords that you pick out from a title. And then I also found this challenge where you read a book by a Black horror author every month, and then there's different prompts for each month. I'm really excited to start this challenge. I've already planned pretty much the entire year out, so I already know all the books that I'm going to read pretty much, but wanted to fill you in and let you know which books I'm going to be reading for this particular video. I'm going to be reading 5, okay? So we're going to start with the Black author that I'm going to choose. So for January, it was to pick your favorite Black horror author. One of my favorite Black horror authors is Tarana Reeve Dew, and I have not read The Between yet. Usually her books are a little chunky chunk, but this is like a normal size book, I would say. But I have not read this book yet. I don't really know anything besides the first line of this book, which caught my attention, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna read that. So when Hilton was a baby, his grandmother sacrificed her life to save him from drowning. I love a good sacrifice story, especially when it is kind of like a grandmother sacrificing herself. I think that's like the sweetest thing ever. But I don't know what else this is going to be about. So I know it's horror. I know it has like a little bit of a romance subplot. Very excited for this. So this is going to be my January book for that. The next 2 we're going to talk about are the buzzwords. So the cover challenge for the buzzword for January is like an internal body part, or an internal something to do with your body, but it's internal. So I picked this one for the skull. I know that this is a dark romance. Supposedly it's one of the best TikTok dark romances that's out there right now, and it's a trilogy. It's Take Her Soul. Oh, nope, not Take Her Soul. Her Soul to Take. College student has unleashed an irresistible darkness. A soul-hungry demon might be her only chance at survival. Dark romantasy. I'm here for it. I've been in a dark romantasy mood lately. The next one I have is, again, for the Buzzword-a-thon, but it is the word that's in the cover. And the words for January were before and after. So I chose Never Ever After by Sue Lynn Tan, and I know that this is a Cinderella retelling based off of Chinese mythology. Sounds fabulous. It sounds right up my alley. Cover is absolutely gorgeous. This book, y'all, OMG. This book is freaking gorgeous, okay? It's so pretty. Like, I am here for it. Look how that, look at that. That's pretty. I didn't buy the book for like how it looked, but when it came in, I was like, oh, that's nice. That's nice. So the only thing that's missing is spread edges, but the rest of the book itself is just absolutely gorgeous, and I'm really, really excited to read Cinderella retelling. And for the keyword challenge for January, here's all the words. I have picked The Midnight Knock, which I had an arc of, and I did not get to the arc, so I'm going to read that. And then I also have The Girl Next Door, and I've heard that that one's like super, super dark. But I think for the keywords, my goal for this series is to read stuff that's off my Kindle if I'm able to. Because I got a lot of stuff in my Kindle that I need to read. So I am going to try to do that for the keyword stuff. Well, really for all of this. If I have something on my Kindle, I'm going to read it. But that is what this video is going to be. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to put timestamps for each book. If you don't want to listen to me yap for this entire video, you can like, you know. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments down below if you were participating in any of these, and I'll let you know when I start reading the first book. Wasn't sure how to feel about this book at first, just because it's fever dreamy and kind of confusing, honestly, but now that I understand what's going on, I'm in it. I am in this. This book is reminding me a lot of Listen to Your Sister, about how if dreams are true or if it's like a different dimension, that type of thing. We have Hilton, and he is the dad of 2 teenagers. He is also married. He's living in the suburbs. His family is the only black family that's in his neighborhood. There are a lot of racist things going on in here. He's dealing with somebody sending death threats to his wife. She is a judge. And then he's also dealing with mental things too, because like I said, he doesn't know if his dreams are reality or if they are in a different dimension, or if he's just losing his ever-loving mind. So while he's dealing with all of that, he's trying to be the protector of his family too, against the person who is trying to come after his family and like wants his family dead. It's also drenched in white supremacy, so those scenes are really hard to read because they're so full of hate. And again, I've never understood the reasons behind, or the mentality behind, people hating other people just based on the color of their skin. I don't understand it, and I just don't get it. And it is full of that in here. And I don't know. I'm not going to say that I'm enjoying this book, because this book is not something that you enjoy in my opinion, but Tananarive Dew's craft, her writing, is exceptional as usual. This is her like debut novel. You can tell that it's a debut just by, it's not as concise as her other books that I've read before, but this was a huge undertaking for her, and I think that she is doing a damn good job with this story, because it is very ambitious, very, very ambitious. But just the way that she is writing Hilton and how real he is and all of his experiences, it just makes his character come to life, especially with listening to the audiobook. The narrator is doing a fabulous job with narrating this, and I'm really liking the chapters that we're getting with his dreams, because they are freaky. They're freaky. And yeah, I don't know if I can tell you about some of the stuff. Just know that his dreams are bizarre. They have very, very dark images of nightmarish things, okay? Nightmarish things that you probably don't want to dream about. And his family has a long lineage of dreaming like this. We'll say that. This is a really hard book to talk about. I don't know if I'm conveying any of my thoughts properly, but yeah, it's a very odd book, but I am in it. I want to see where the story goes. I want to see how Tananarive Dew wraps this whole story up, and see if some of the things that I think that are going to be happening or are happening actually happen. I don't know how to talk about this book because it's hard. It's hard to describe without telling you everything that's going on in it. But yeah, Hilton is a very interesting character. This whole concept is very interesting to me. I wanted to sit on this book for like a night because I finished this yesterday, and I'm going to give it 3.75. I thought that it was still a very well crafted book. It just wasn't my favorite of Tananarive Dew's, and you can tell that this was a debut. It's not like her other books that I have read in the past that have all come together very, very nicely, even if it was an ambiguous ending or whatever. But this book was just kind of chaotic in a way, and I was a little lost most of the time. But I think that that was intentional because Hilton is going through a lot with his family and also with his dreams, like dreams merging into reality. Are they real? What's really going on? Because there's a lot of, is this real? Is this not real? Did I do this? Did I not do this? So the between being the title is perfect because you don't know what's going on half the time. But I do think that this book has a lot to say, and I do think that this book is a good book. It's just not one of my favorites of Tananarive Due. It does have a lot of talks about social injustice, specifically against brown and black people, and about how white supremacy sucks. Yep, there's a lot in here. But I am going to start reading Never Ever After, which is a change. Obviously, it's romantasy. It's a Cinderella retelling, and it's full of Chinese folklore, which I'm very, very excited about. Obviously, I've already said that the book is absolutely gorgeous, but we're gonna see if the story is... It's Sunday, but I'm doing a little bit of work to help with some time because we're going on a little trip over the weekend to Chattanooga for my birthday that's coming up next week, and also to take the kids to the aquarium. I love the aquarium. But I want to let you know that I am halfway through Never Ever After. While it does have a lot of Cinderella retelling in it, it's also kind of reminding me of Mulan too, because Yining she's poor, and she goes to a ball, she meets the prince. There's a reason as to why she's now in the kingdom, and then she also goes into some like trials and stuff like that because there is a quest that she wants to attend and she wants to be a part of. So she goes through the trials, she ends up winning, and now she is doing the quest. So it is reminding me a little bit of Mulan in a sense too. I am really liking the world. I'm really liking Yining. I also like Jin, who is, I think, the love interest. So there's I wouldn't say there's a love triangle, because Yining is, she caught the eyeballs of the prince, and the prince is wanting her, but she is slowly realizing that he is not as nice and as good of a person as she thought when she first met him. But she has eyes for Jin, who is her type, but he is on like the opponent side of everything, if that makes sense. So I'm seeing a little bit of a love triangle here. I like Yining and Jin together better. I think that the prince is a callous butthole, and I am interested to see where the story is going to go from here. Like I said, I'm really, really enjoying this. Even though it's YA, there are a lot of relevant topics that are in here about people who are in power taking advantage of the people who are under them and who are less fortunate than them. There are a lot of lies that I guess you could call them the government, the kingdom, whatever you want, a lot of lies and propaganda that they are spewing to the poorer people. And she's realizing that this kingdom that has always been like super beautiful to her, everybody wants to be in the kingdom, everybody wants to be a part of like the royalness, you know, it's not all rainbows and butterflies. And she's realizing that there's a lot of corruption. So very relevant to what we're seeing today in today's world, literally everywhere. Whatever. But I like Yining. She is a powerhouse. She is not scared to get her hands dirty. She's slowly realizing how to play everybody. I would not call her a bad person by any means. She does what she needs to do to survive. She's always done that. She had the evil step aunt, and she finally got away from her, but she's always had to survive. She's not scared to steal from people, steal from the rich, you know, so kind of like Robin Hood a little bit too. But there's a lot of like fairy tale-ness going on in here, and I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I think that this author is doing a really good job with the world being so big but easy to understand. It's very digestible, which is one reason why I like YA fantasy. But I want to let you know, halfway through, hopefully I'll finish it today while I am working. I wanted to let you know that I ended up giving this a 3.5. I really liked the first half of this book. The second half of this book kind of lost me a little bit. The pacing wasn't the same as the first half, which they're like on a journey and on a quest and everything like that, but it just felt too rushed for me, and things weren't fleshed out enough for me to understand everything that was going on per se. It did get very fantasy to me, which that's a me problem, that's not a book problem. But again, I did feel like the second half of this book, it didn't tickle my fancy like I wanted it to, okay? I did really like the last 30 pages of this. It sucked me back into the story, and I can't wait for the second book in this series. I know that this book literally just came out, but I'm so excited to continue with this series because I love Yenning. She is so full of resilience, and she does not back down from anybody. She speaks she tells exactly what she thinks, which I absolutely love. And I'm also really excited to see where her and Jin's relationship's gonna go, because I believe that they're gonna be the couple, okay? There was a little bit of a love triangle thing going on here too. It wasn't like a true love triangle, but it kind of, I don't know. Anyways, there was that, and I don't really like that, but I did like this story. It was nice. And I think that a lot of people who are getting into romantasy would really enjoy this. It's very easy to digest, minus some of the second half magicery. It talks about social class. It does have talks about like racism, has talks about patriarchy and how the richer get richer and the poorer get poorer, and how can we fix that issue. So it has a lot of important topics in here. And I think that the author did that very well. I ended up finishing The Girl Next Door, giving it a 4-star. This book was extremely hard to get through. It is very detailed. Sorry if you can hear my dog drinking water. But it is very detailed. It's very graphic in that aspect. And some of the scenes made me wince a lot, and knowing that there are actually people out there like this, they're not only terrifying, but it also really pisses me off. This book is based on a true story, and it's based on Sylvia Likens. She was held captive. She was tortured by her friends of the neighborhood, and the woman that orchestrated the entire thing was her like nanny slash babysitter. And it is an awful story to know that that teenagers were influenced to hurt one of their peers like this, and it went on for so long. And it's sickening to know that there are really people out there like this. So The Girl Next Door follows a preteen named David, and David lives next door to the Carpenters. The Carpenters, there's the mom, there's 3 brothers, and David is friends with Donnie, who is like, I think he's the oldest, maybe the middle kid. Their mom, Ruth, takes in Meg and Suzanne, and Meg and Suzanne are Ruth's nieces. There's something about Meg that Ruth hates, like absolutely hates, and Ruth singles Meg out, does incredibly horrible things to her. You find out later too that Suzanne is not, she doesn't get away from the horrible things, and she has other horrible things going on with her. Essentially, Meg and Suzanne lost both of their parents in a horrible accident, and they went through a lot of trauma. Meg has scars all over her. Suzanne is disabled. She has braces on her legs and her arms. And Ruth takes advantage of not only their mental health after losing, you know, their parents, but also she takes advantage of the situation and she tortures these two girls. David sees the torture happening. He's a 12-year-old boy. Not that that's an excuse, but he doesn't really want to get involved. He watches a lot. He gets to know Meg and he gets to know Suzanne, but he's also friends with Donnie and he doesn't want to make his friend mad. He doesn't want to make his mom or his friend's mom mad because Ruth is the cool mom. She's the one that lets them drink and smoke. And he tells himself in his 12-year-old mind that he's not involved because he hasn't done anything wrong. Like he's not physically doing the violence towards Meg. He has that bystander effect. And I think that this book is super important because it is like young kids and teenagers, you know, their brains haven't developed and all that. And it is so important to tell your kids, if you see something, say something. Even if people call you a snitch or whatever, it's so important because we see all of these cases all over the news. And if you watch true crime, you see all of these cases where teenagers could have said something, but they didn't want to be perceived as a tattletale to their peers. David is a victim in the situation. So victim blaming is a big part of this book too, specifically more Meg and Suzanne than David, but he is also a victim because he's being manipulated by Ruth. But, and the brothers, especially his friend Donnie. But anyways, it was just a really hard read. Very, very hard. I can see why this book is considered horror, most definitely. Horrors of the world and people. And it also talks a lot about mental health. You see the decline of Ruth's mental health throughout this. She's got something going on. And you see her slowly starting to decline into madness pretty much. And she is encouraging her sons to go along with what's happening to Meg and Suzanne. It was a hard read. Glad that I finally read it though. I would not recommend this book to everybody. If you can handle extreme horror, splatterpunk, that kind of book, I mean, go for it. But just know that it is pretty brutal, and it's not a fun read by any means. I did read it, sorry, my hair is being itself today, but I did read it in one day. I listened to it / read it yesterday. And yeah, I'm gonna now switch gears and do a romance. This is a dark romance, so we're sticking with the dark theme here. But Her Soul to Take, I don't really know much about this besides it's about a college student and she ends up meeting a soul-hungry demon. I ended up finishing Her Soul to Take and I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I liked Leon and Ray together. I thought that they were very, very cute. The one gripe that I have about this book is, even though it said that it was erotica and everything like that, I think I am moving away from books that are solely just on the smut part, you know? And I'm starting to get a little bit bored of reading sex scenes over and over and over again, okay? Not that I don't like them, it's just I want more plot, I guess, now than just the steam. Especially in this book, I wanted to know so much more about the world that we were introduced to. Leon is a demon and he's summoned, like he does other people's bidding. And we have Ray, who is a paranormal investigator / blogger. She's moving back to her family's like hometown where she grew up, but then they moved away, blah, blah, blah. So she's moving back. She's in college, and she's just going on with life. And then lo and behold, she ends up meeting Leon, who is, like I said, a demon. They start a relationship with each other. Leon is very, very protective of Ray, which I really like, obviously. I like protective, broody love interests. Love them so much. And Leon was, he was all of that, okay? He was very sweet to Ray. He took care of her. He watched over her. He just, like, anybody touches Ray, you know. And I just like it when my male main characters, or, you know, any love interest to our heroine, or to our main love, and whatever, you know what I'm trying to say. I like it when they are super protective of each other. Again, I kind of wanted more of the backstory, like of Leon's backstory, and where he comes from, like that part of it was what was missing for me. I think if this book would have focused more on that, I would have given it 5 stars. Obviously, this is a beloved book by a lot of people, so this is a me problem. This isn't a book's problem, okay? But yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'm going to continue on with the series anytime soon, maybe in the future, but I have other romantasy books / series that I'm already in that I am more interested in reading. Not a bad book by any means. I think my tastes in romance are just starting to evolve as I get older. So again, it's more of a me problem, not the books. But now I am reading The Midnight Knock by John Frem. And I was not expecting to like this book. I thought it was just going to be another locked room mystery that I was reading, and you try to figure out who the person that's killing everybody is and everything like that. But boy, was I surprised, because although it is a locked room mystery, there is a big freaking twist in here that I did not see coming. And I have been on the edge of my seat literally all day listening / reading this. The tension that I am feeling in my body right now is not okay. But I am in this story, like in it. The audiobook is really, really good. And I am just liking it. So we have a whole bunch of people who come to this motel, and it's run down. It has a really dark past where people have come up missing and they don't know where they went. And then this group of people somehow finds this motel. They stay in it. Midnight comes around, people start getting killed off left and right, okay? And it is just like boom, 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 boom. It kind of starts off a little slow, but once the action starts, it's like, okay? But like I said, there's a twist that I did not see coming. It is brutal. It's very, very brutal. It's very gory. This author does a really, really good job with those scenes, them being appropriate for what the story is, you know? It's not like overly gory or anything like that, but like I said, the tension that I am feeling in my body, I was not expecting, okay? I wasn't expecting for this story, but I'm really, really liking it, and I think that this is going to be a pretty highly rated book. It is very different from what I thought it was going to be, and I'm not mad about it, okay? I'm not mad about it at all. So, very pleasantly surprised with this book. I'm really excited to get to the end so I can see what happens, because yep, it is, yep. Is anybody else just really, really tired? Because I'm really tired. I've been really tired the past like 3 days. It's a horrible angle, but yeah, I am very sleepy. Very, very sleepy. I ended up finishing The Midnight Knock. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. It's not gonna be for everybody, okay? It's very weird. I don't think a lot of people are gonna like it, but I enjoyed it just because it was so different than what I have read from before. I have read some things like it, but it's so unique in its own way, and it's just crazy, okay? It is nuts, and I really, really liked it. if you have watched, what is that, Legions? Is that the one where all the people like turn into like, I don't really, are they zombies or whatever? But it's like demons and angels and all that. Okay, that vibe with the Paradox Hotel book that came out in like 2020, I believe. I read that a while ago. Paradox Hotel, and also it kind of reminded me of The Shining a little bit for some reason. If all of those had a baby, it would be The Midnight Knock, in my opinion. I don't know what else to tell you because I don't want to ruin anything for you, because the reveal comes pretty early in the book. Just know that these people are racing against time to not die, okay? That's what they're doing. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to do February. I only have 4 books in February, but they are some really, really good books. Some of them are books that I have had on my TBR for forever. So hopefully you'll stick around for those. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this video. If you can't wait to see me do any more of these. And I'll see you on the next one. I don't know what that was. Goodbye.